You know how here in the U.S., the South of the U.S. has the reputation as being the most racist white people because of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Is there regions in Mexico that are typically more discriminatory or have more of a racist frame of mind towards black folks?
That I know of, no. But I can say that there is places in Mexico that are more discriminatory or discriminative, or they discriminate against their own people. There's some people in Sinaloa who are more fair-skinned, and there's people that you have down in Guerrero and Oaxaca. They're more darker tone. Yeah, there's a little discrimination there. There's also discrimination between Mexicans from Mexico and Mexicans from here. They call them pochos. So it's just like, it's just all ignorance, pretty much. Any time when there's some type of discrimination, it's ignorance. And ignorance also, I want to inform people, it's not really that much really of an insult. It just rather means that you just lack knowledge of something. So you can be ignorant, like me. I'm ignorant to this whole camera setup and stuff. I don't know how to work that. That's not my cup of tea. So I'm ignorant to that. That doesn't mean that I'm like a piece of trash, you know what I'm saying? I'm just ignorant. So I feel like it's ignorance. But that I know of, I've heard people in Mexico never really, honestly, I've never really been discriminated in Mexico. I've been discriminated out here by Mexicans, but not really in Mexico. You know, in Mexico, especially when they hear me speak Spanish, me reciben con las piernas, los brazos abiertos.
Now, the flip side of that is you probably get confused a lot for being maybe Panamanian, Dominican, from some of the other Latin American countries that have a prominent black presence.
Sometimes, but that's until they hear me speak Spanish. And the reason I say that is because even though that's all Spanish, there's different dialects, there's different accents, there's different things. Like los Puerto Ricans, they don't talk like Mexicans. Puerto Ricans, instead of saying like, ¿Cómo andas tú? Like, ¿Cómo andas? They say, ¿Cómo tú andas? ¿Cómo tú anda? And they don't even say the S.
Yeah, they don't say S's.
They say, or instead of the la troca, el carro, they say la guagua.
La guagua.
La guagua, or they say, instead of like, instead of fumar, they say with an L. They don't pronounce the R, they say it with an L, fumar. Vamos a fumar, vamos a ir a la playa, vamos a fumar, papito, eh? That's how the Puerto Ricans talk. And then you have Mexicans that talk, that are different. Listen to this, los cochos de Guerrero. Those are people from Guerrero. They talk like, ¿Qué onda, cocho? They talk like that. People from Sinaloa, ¿Qué onda, viejón? Then you have, that's the Sinaloenses. So you have different types of accents based on, like, kind of like here in the U.S., where you got people from LA talk a certain way, people from New York talk a certain way. They want some water, they want to go pork the core. You know what I'm saying? You from Atlanta, Maine. You know what I'm saying? You from Louisiana, you know, you from New Orleans. They talk different, you know. Texas got their country accent, you know, so it's the same thing. But it's crazy now that I actually really think about that, how the U.S. has that and then they have that there too.
Now, have you studied other artists historically that were from the U.S. but sang music that's indigenous to another country? For example, like Selena, she was from Texas, but she sang Mexican music, and your Spanish was probably better than Selena's Spanish.
Back then, yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of other artists too that do different like genres. Like I've also done things like that too. Like I've experimented with a genre called salsa choque. So that's why I have fans in Colombia, because I've done Colombian music as well on one track. But yeah, I feel like there's Sarah. Let's talk about Sarah. Sarah's an African-American girl from Moreno Valley, Paris area, who was adopted by Hispanics. They took her to live in Zacatecas. So she's like the female version of me. She sings, she's black, but sings in Spanish. And let me tell you, like, to me sometimes she sounds like Selena. And but like that's crazy because she's doing the same thing as me, and that seeing her makes me feel like way more better because I got tired of being the only black person at the Mexican clubs.
So where can we catch her at?
On she's on everywhere. She's on YouTube. She's on Instagram. She's on every platform.
So she's a black American girl from California.
Mm-hmm. Black excellence, doing the same thing that I'm doing. And her story is even more, you know, unique. Me, I just fell in love with the culture. She lived in Mexico. She's like the real deal. It's like, it's cool, you know?
Okay, so after you're influenced by Julian Alvarez, and then it went on to Larry Hernandez, what are those two guys... How have those two guys kind of shaped where you want to take your music, where you want to take your career?
They shape my music in the form of traditional music because they don't sing like this new stuff that's out, like corridos tumbados, all that kind of stuff. Like Eslabon Armado style. No disrespect to them. I like their music. Eslabon Armado, they're badass. But they don't sing that style. They sing traditional stuff. Me, I want to keep it traditional and just kind of like find different ways to like create more subgenres within regional Mexican. Like regional Mexican is the umbrella. Then you have all these subgenres: mariachi, ranchera, banda, sierreño, norteño. You have all these different subgenres within this one umbrella. And you have corridos tumbados, which is new, that came out. You know, then you have the Eslabon Armado kind of style that just came out. So that's what I want to do. I want to keep branching out and making different things, like filling in the things that's missing in that that style of music.
Now, in terms of international appeal, it seems as if the reggaeton music and the salsa music from the Caribbean has a larger appeal than some of the music come out of Mexico. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Because mainstream networks share that music and they don't share this music. Because I was just talking about that. I said before the whole thing was, oh, well, we don't know what they're saying, it's in Spanish. So before the reggaeton started like creeping up in there, they was doing, you know, features with English artists. But now if you take Bad Bunny, which is like one of the biggest stars there is right now, I'm listening to his music, because I don't really listen to the radio, but I listen to the radio. And dude is singing completely in Spanish. There's no English in there, but it's on a freaking English radio station. So I said, why can't we be on there? So we working on that. We gonna find a way, you know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, internationally, that's my goal, is international.
Osuna, he's like international.
Oh, yeah, because he's
Reggaeton.
reggaeton.
Yeah.
That reggaeton is, because it's dance music. You play that in the club, but this is dance music too. Like we gotta, like, I'm on some revolutionary shit, man. I can't say too much, but I got ideas for days about what we're finna do, or what, you know, not necessarily myself, but me, my crew, and everybody that's in my circle, and everybody who's gonna do features with me, what we're all gonna do for regional Mexican music. You know what I'm saying? Man, that's all I can say is just wait, bro. It's gonna be crazy, you know, what we're gonna do. All within keeping the authenticity and traditional basis and elements of the music.